Hello students, I am Priyesh Jha. As we know that we are struggling in a crisis, the whole world is suffering from the global epidemic COVID-19, and that's why we are continuing our classrooms through online sessions. And in the same concern, I'm running my classes on Google Class and other social networks. Uh, my today's topic is about English pedagogy. But before I directly jump to my topic, let me briefly tell you about the syllabus of English pedagogy. As the other pedagogy subjects, English pedagogy has also 4 units. In the first unit, we have English as a foreign language. In unit 2, we have the organizing of learning in English. In unit 3, we have uh, strategies for learning in English, and in unit 4 we have the assessment in English. Now in all these four units, we have to read in briefly. I'm telling you, we have to read about the basics of teaching methods, then how to teach language, how to teach literature, poems, poetry, and so many other journals. So this is the general cover of the whole syllabus in LNMU. Now let me start my topic, but before that let me tell you my videos and lectures are being uploaded time to time on Google Classroom. You can join there, and I'll send my code, Google code, uh, under the this lecture video clip. Now let's get started. So in this class, in this video clip, we shall discuss about the nature of language. Because language is the very basic unit, so before all these things, let us talk about language. What is language? How language was innovated, and how language is being used by the people? What are the different diversities in language? What are the properties of language? These are the important things. So the first thing is, what is language? Etymologically, the word language has been derived from the Latin word lingua, which means tongue. That's why we can say that language is something related to the vocal property. And you can see that in the world there are so many species, but it is only human being which is using the language. Like animals and birds, they use the symbolic sounds, but they are not language. But in human being, language is used, and that is the very important aspect of human life. It is language which is enhancing, and which is helping in enhancement of the other epistemologies in the. And that's why before learning other aspects of knowledge, we learn the language itself. Now what is the basic understanding of language? What is the basic structure of language? There is a linguist, you know Ferdinand de Saussure. He had said that language is something which is very much concerned with structuralism. But I'm not going to that deep of linguistics. I'm telling you in the plain words so that you can understand it in a better way. The language is a means of communication between human beings of emotions and ideas with the help of speech and hearing. I'm repeating it again. Language is the means of communication between human beings of emotions and ideas with the help of speech and hearing. Now see, in this definition, I have compiled the four things. First thing, that language is a communication, and what is being communicated? The communicated is ideas and informations. Both is needed in the communication. The communication is also done with the help of speech, which is either vocal or non-vocal, and the second thing is hearing. So these are the four conditions of a language. Now you see that there are a lot of languages which is being spoken, like we have Mathli, we have Maghi, and we have Bhojpuri, we have Haryanvi. So Bhojpuri, Haryanvi, these are not the language, they are dialects because they don't have their own manuscript. So language is something which is very much developed and disciplined itself under the rules of grammar. That is a complete developed form of language, like Hindi, English, Marathi. These are the languages, means developed languages. And you will also find something, like if you are if you are well aware about Mathli, you will find that Mathli is spoken throughout Mithilanchal, but after every 10 or 15 kilometers the dialectical tone of Mathli is changed. This changing in the language is called the parole. Now let me tell you something about the properties of language. Language has major four properties. These are the major four properties of any language across the world. The number one is language is social phenomena. Why it is a social phenomena? Because language is nothing outside the society. We cannot think about language beyond the society, because language is a social network. It is only developed in the society. It is only possible, the communication is possible only in a limited number of societies. Suppose I live in a Hindi society, so I can communicate with the people who are Hindi spoken. But suppose that there is a man who is aware of English, but he doesn't know the Hindi language. So I may have problems in the communication with the man, because he is unable to know what I speak, and what he speaks I am unable to understand. So this social aspect is important, because I have the Hindi society, they have the English society. So this society is very important, and that's why language has the first quality, first property, that language is a social phenomena. The second property of language is that language it is arbitrary. But before I discuss something else, let me tell you what is arbitrariness. Arbitrariness means communication gap. In plain words, let me tell you, it is the communication gap, because language is everything in a language is symbolized. Suppose I have a book in my hand, so this book, word book, it is not the book, it is the symbol, the word B-O-O-K, book. It is the symbol of the original book. Okay, so in Hindi we call it pustak, kitab. So the word pustak or kitab, these are the symbols of the actual object in nature. So when the language is spoken on a large scale, always it is misinterpreted, or it can be misinterpreted. So this is called the arbitrariness, because language is always there is a communication misunderstanding. That is the arbitrariness of language. The third property of language is that language is symbolic. As I have just told you, that language has another property, that is the arbitrariness. Similarly, language is symbolic. What is the symbol means? Symbol means every language has its symbol. Now this symbol is not a kind of picture or a kind of object, but is the symbols of alphabets. The whole dictionary we have, these are the symbols of language. We have the lakhs and crores words in language. These words are nothing but the symbols. So we have mobile phones, we have fan, we have books, we have so many objects in nature, and these objects are being symbolized in a language. And whenever we speak, we don't use the actual object in nature, but we use the symbols of the language. So suppose I need a glass of water, and I ask you for a glass of water, but you don't know what is the meaning of water. You can't understand and you can't fetch me the water. So for bringing the water, you need to know the meaning of water. Suppose you are a Hindi speaker and you understand pani, and I tell you to bring water, a glass of water, you cannot do that because it is very difficult for you. So that's why language is symbolical. And the fourth property of language is language is always changeable, means it is always changing, it is never in a fixed frame. Language uh, is very much dependent on society, and society is very much it is a ever changing thing. Cultural and cultures are the reason of changing the society. So cultures, civilizations, these are the things which are cause of the changing in society, and as the society changes, language changes itself. So in brief, I told you about the language, nature of language and property of language. In my next video clip, I will tell you about English as a foreign language, because in India we speak English on a large level, but originally English doesn't belong to India. That's why we are the second speaker of English. So in India we use English as a second language. So what are the problems while we speak English? What are so many other things? So this is the thing I will discuss in my next video. And one more thing, that this video clip, you must go through the video clip, pause it if you don't understand, rewind it if you don't understand, watch again and again if you don't understand. And those of you who have the English pedagogy, teaching of English in your course syllabus, I insist them to watch and join my Google Classroom, so that you can be enhanced, you can be benefited. And I will if in case you have any problem, you can message me. I will surely answer your query. Thank you. Have a great day.